Hello guys, and welcome to the 12th episode of the How to Make an RPG in Unity tutorial series. And in this episode, we're going to be learning how to um, make an attack system for enemies. So you see I've just dragged in the skeleton enemy we have made in the previous episodes, and his job is to attack us. And basically, we're going to make it so that when you pick up this weapon, you're going to be able to, oh, whoops, one sec, we have an error already. That's not a good sign. Let's actually just look at the errors. I believe it should be because we didn't assign the variables, the proper variables. Um, but basically, in this episode, we're going to be making it so that when you click with your dagger equipped, like in the last episode, you're going to be able to play an attack animation and actually be able to like attack the enemy. So let me just drag in the player for now. Um, there we go. Okay, and then we can press play. Um, Yeah, so basically you can see here, once we pick up the sword, we should be able to just go up to the NPC and attack it back. Um, and obviously we're going to have animations, we're obviously going to have death animations, and we're going to be fixing some small bugs, as well as giving our guy a hot bar, or a health bar. So a lot to do in this episode. And yeah, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna create a swinging animation for a sword because right now there is no swing animation. Um, and let me just drag the prefab under main camera, so that we can actually start making the animations. So we can come here, and let's just put this here, and now we can start creating animations. And how we're going to do that is we're just going to click on, I think we've made animations here before with the quest animus. So we're just going to go to animation, we're going to press create, and we're going to go to assets, and under Unity RPG, we're going to go to assets, and we're going to go to animations, and we're going to create a new folder called weapon anims. And then we're going to create a new folder called dagger anims. And we're just going to enter that, and we're going to call this dagger idle. And now we can unpack the prefab because actually no, we won't unpack the prefab for now. But we're just going to, what we're going to do is we're just going to press the record button, and we're just going to make the sword kind of sway a little bit. And what we're going to do, how we're going to do that is we're just going to press copy component first for the transform. We're going to move it around, rotate it a bunch, and then paste the transform back in. And this is just so that whenever our animation plays, the sword will also always have to be there. After maybe like 2 seconds, we can have our sword maybe like sway to the left a bit. And maybe after 2 more seconds, we can have our sword sway to the right. And then we can copy these keyframes and paste it at 6 seconds. Okay, so now we can play the animation, and this is what our idle animation will look like. Now I'm fine with that, but if you guys think you can make a better animation, then you're free to do so. But this is just going to be our animations for this series. Um, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make an attack animation. Um, if you guys want blocking, um, or like maybe like a special attack for each weapon, comment down below and let me know if you do. Because right now all I'm planning to do is make an attack animation and an idle animation. So you guys want a blocking mechanic or like a special attack mechanic, then yeah, feel free to let me know. But anyways, now we're just gonna play our attack animation. So we can say dagger attack, and we can paste the keyframes we had from last time in here. So we can just copy this and then press the record button and then paste it in here. So now we have the keyframes in here, and then basically how I think we're gonna do this is after like maybe like 10 milliseconds, we're gonna rotate it back and raise it a bit, and then we're going to have it sweep out in front of us, um, like so. So now we can Yep. I mean, obviously this animation isn't really that great, but if you guys want to improve on it, then yeah, feel free to do so. But this is just gonna be my animation for the series. And yeah, so basically we're pretty much done here. Um, and we can actually see this in game with the full screen, and we can see how it looks like. So attack animation looks pretty good, and the auto animation looks pretty decent as well. So yeah, I think I'm fine with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the animation controller and we're going to create a couple of variables. So the first variable we're going to make is we're going to make, so you're going to go to the parameters tab and you're going to press this plus button. We're going to press bool and it's going to say um, is attacking. And basically, if attacking is true, we're going to transform or go from dagger idle animation to dagger attack. So we can take off has exit time, and we can add a condition and just leave as default for now. And then over here, for this next arrow, we take off has exit. This time, you just want to make it into false. And yeah, so we can loop dagger idle, but we do not want to loop dagger attack. And yeah, so now we can just press play and we can see our dagger idle animation just playing automatically. Um, yeah, so now the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make our dagger actually attack. So we're going to have to attach a script to it. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. We can create like a generalized script for every single weapon. Or we can create like personalized scripts for each and every weapon. I think I'm just gonna create a general script because it's easier. But yeah, if you guys want to like make customizable scripts like for every weapon that you're gonna have, then that's also fine. So I'm gonna right click and press create, and I'm gonna create a new C# script called weapon script. And now we're just gonna enter the weapon script. And we're going to basically for all the swords, they're all going to be pretty much the same. Um, and the only variable changes that it's going to take in are going to be from the object data. So we can actually go into object data for now. And let's actually store a new bool, or not bool, but float called public float attack speed and public float attack damage. And you'll see why these are important in a second. So over here in our new script, we're obviously going to reference our object data, and we're going to call it data. And yeah, so basically what we want to happen is we also want the animation, so we can reference the animation by saying public animation or animator, sorry, anim. And we can just literally just say void update if input dot get key down key code dot mouse 0, which is our left click. Then we can just say anim dot set bool. I forgot what we called the bool. Sorry. Also, why do we have two of these open? Let me just close one of them. Wait. But I forgot what the bool is. I'm just gonna check out the bool real quick. It's called is attacking. So we basically what we're gonna say is attacking is gonna be equal to true. And yeah, for now. So for now, whenever you press the space button or the not space button, the left mouse click, we're just gonna automatically go into the attack animation. Or sorry, we forgot to attach the script. That's why it's not working. So let's just attach the script to our weapon, and we can call this weapon script. And then the data is obviously going to be here, and animator is here. And we can click over here on overrides, and we can apply all the new changes that we made to the prefab into the folder. So you can see here I left clicked and the animation played, but it didn't go back, and that is because um, we didn't actually code it for it to go back yet. Also, one thing I want to fix is I want to go to dagger attack, and I actually want to loop this animation so that our sword will always return to the correct position after swing. So before it kind of just rests there, but now it goes back to the correct position. So I'm actually going to make this slightly quicker because I feel it's a bit slow. Oops. And yeah, so this is basically just going to be my animation for the game. And obviously you guys can make a different one. So, now that we have this down, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna delete this so we know it works. We can create a new bool called public bool is attacking, and we can delete void update. And actually no, we still need it. So what we're gonna say is we're actually going to retype what we just typed because I just realized we actually need it. So we can just say if input dot get key down key code dot mouse 0. So if we hit the left mouse button, then we're gonna run something called an IEnumerator. So IEnumerator attack. I think we already touched on IEnumerators before. No, we actually haven't. Okay, so IEnumerators are basically like functions, but you can put weights in them. So basically, weights are like do this after this, and like after X amount of time. So basically, what we can do is yield return new wait for seconds, and basically what the function will do is it'll basically just wait for seconds before doing something else. So this is really useful because we can play the attack animation and then like stop the ability for us to actually click and attack again until after a few seconds, and then we can attack again. And yeah, so that's why that's useful. So we can just say if we can actually just call the function the IEnumerator. So how you call an IEnumerator is start with start coroutine. It's different from an actual function, a normal function. But so you have to add start coroutine before you actually call the function. So we're gonna have yield return new wait for seconds data dot I forgot what the variable was called. Attack speed. So because obviously every attack animation is different, that's why we need a variable to be attached to object data. And then basically over here, we're just gonna say if not is attacking, and we're just gonna default is attacking to be equal to false just in case. So basically, if we're not actually attacking yet, oh, whoops, we're getting an error here. So if we're not attacking, we're just gonna set it to false, and or sorry, true. And after we wait, let's say 1 second, so we're gonna set it to false again, or true again, false again. Sorry, my bad. And yeah, the reason we do this is because if we just set it true and then false right away, our player can just spam click and they can always do damage. And it'll create all sorts of errors. So that's why we have a coroutine, or yeah, a coroutine. Um, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna say anim.set bool. The same bool is attacking, and we're just gonna set it to true, and we can set it to false after the wait seconds that we need to wait are waited accounted for. Um, and now we can go to Animator. Actually, yeah, and we need to see how long this animation actually is. So it is 0.35f. So we can just say go to our game, and we can just say go to our scripts and objects, and we can make the attack speed 0.35f. And now, yeah, so we should be able to actually click again, attack again after 0.35 seconds. So you can see here, everything works fine. And I can attack every few seconds, and I can never spam click. So now what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna make it so that if we do hit our enemy, then we're going to be able to have to be able to um, make it take damage. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach a health bar over our enemy. And how we're going to do that is we're just going to create an in-game canvas that's going to float over our skeleton enemy, and it's going to display how much health it actually has. So we can just go UI canvas, and we can change this to world space, um, and we don't need an event camera, and we're just going to create a slider right here. So let's just double click on that so we just float right to it. And we can see how big the canvas is, which is it's huge. Um, and so we're just gonna make this a bit smaller by making this like let's say 500 by let's say 200. And obviously we can also zero the position, so 0, 0, 0, and we also zero the rotation. Well, it's already zeroed. And let's actually make this a lot smaller. Let's make this like 50 by 50, and then we can see the slider is still huge. So we're gonna scale it down to 0.1 by 0.1 by 0.1. And that's still quite huge, so we're just going to scale this back down to 0.05, 0.05, and 0.05. Still pretty big, but yeah, you get the idea. I'm just going to adjust this to the desired dimensions. I'm going to drag this up. Also, I'm going to make the canvas smaller because it's still quite big. Now it's pretty much the perfect size. And now we can edit the UI to actually make it look like a legit, health bar. So a couple things we need to do. We need to make this noticeable so that we can be like, hey, there's an enemy. Um, we also need to make it so that it's easy to see. So the background, in my opinion, is best when it's gray, not completely black, but kind of gray. The fill area, we don't need this handle slide. The fill area should be red, or maybe like orange, like because like the player health bar is red. Maybe we can make it like orange to signify that there's a difference. And then we can go to the slider and we can actually control and see how it will look. So I don't actually like this. We're gonna move the entire fill area to cover the actual thing, and then we can see, yep, it works fine. And yeah, so pretty similar to the health bar that we made for our player. We're just going to have the same thing for our skeleton enemy. So we can close these, and let's go to the skeleton enemy scripts, which we haven't visited in a long, long time. So we can just say over here, we can say public slider, or we need to first declare using Unity engine.ui, and over here we can say public slider health slider. And this is going to control our slider component, and we can say public over here, public um, float max health, public float health. And on void start, we're just going to set health slider dot max value is going to be equal to max health, and health slider dot value is going to be equal to health, and health is going to be equal to max health. And yeah, so whenever we take damage, we're going to just have what we had for player data. We're just going to subtract, so we can have here public void take damage, float damage. So when we do take damage, we're just going to subtract um, uh, health minus equal damage, and then we can have our health slider value be equal to health. Why do we have an error here? Oh, my bad, I spelled damage wrong. Of course I did. And then let's not have a heal function for now, because I feel like that'll be too complicated. But yeah, so now if we go into the game, we should see that our enemy, oh, my bad, we forgot to attach the slider component. So we can just attach the slider component right here. And max health should be, let's say, 100, because it's a standard enemy. We can press the override button and apply all of our previous overrides. And yeah, let's press play and we can test this out. So we have our enemy and it's following us. Pretty cool. But you can see here we didn't actually code it so that when we actually do attack it, it takes damage. So let's start coding that now. So we can go to our script again, and we can just say, go to player data. Where is, or not player data, my bad, our weapon script. And we can just say, we can say void update, or actually, let's actually create a little um, box collider over our player. I'm not gonna get into like actual like detection, like if the sword actually did hit the enemy. We're just gonna do something really cheap and simple. We're gonna put a box collider over our player. And you'll see why we're going to do this in a second. So let's just create 3D cube. I'm going to make this like, let's say 2 by 2 by 2. Or let's make it 2.5 by 2.5 or by 2.5, and we'll call this hitbox. And this will be however big our hitbox should be. And we can just turn off mesh collider, and yeah, um, make sure, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good. So then we can go back into our scripts folder and we can right click and create a new C# script, and we can call this hitbox. And let's go into our hitbox. Also remember to attach it to our hitbox object, and then we can, yeah, start editing the script. Okay, so once you are in the script, what you can do is you can just delete this, and we're just gonna say void on trigger enter. So when we do, when we have an enemy come in, so we can say if other dot tag is equal to, sorry, I'm thinking of JavaScript, is equal to enemy. So if an enemy walks in, then we can say var enemy data is going to be equal to well, okay, we're going to have a lot of different detections because we have so many different, we're probably going to have so many different scripts. So we can just say, we can actually give each enemy a different tag, and we can say like for skeleton AI we can be like skeleton. Then if our enemy is a skeleton, then we're just gonna say var skeleton is gonna be equal to skeleton uh dot get component skeleton AI1, and then we're just gonna say skeleton dot take damage. And over here we're gonna have a public float damage. And this is going to be passed in here. Now you might say, how will this damage variable be changed? And that's going to be changed by our weapon script. So we can just say um, over here, um, when we do attack, um, actually no, we don't actually want this. Um, we actually have to delete this because we don't want them to actually take damage when they enter. We want them to take damage when we do hit them. Um, and what we're going to need to do is actually we can have like a bool. We can just say like private bool is in field is equal to false. And basically, if we do get another enemy in our field, then we can say is in field is equal to true. And on a trigger exit, then we can say is in field is equal to false. Skeleton, then we can say is in field is equal to false. And then we can just say on void um, public void attack. Then we can just say if um, actually we wouldn't know what the enemy would be because we have no idea if it will be a skeleton enemy or maybe like a goblin or a spider that we'll have in the future. So I feel like maybe in a future episode we might actually generalize all the scripts, that enemy scripts. Um, but for now, because we only have one enemy, we don't really need to like check. So we can just say, um, we can literally just say if is in field is equal to true, or sorry, if is in field. Um, then we're also gonna have a private skeleton AI1 variable called like skel, and we can just set skel to be equal to other dot get component skeleton AI1. And over here we can just set skel to be null. So if we are in field, then we're just going to do skel dot take damage damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, we can actually just delete this. And we can just take in another variable called damage, float called damage, and basically when we call this, we can literally just say reference the hitbox, so private hitbox, and on void start we can say hitbox is equal to find object of type hitbox, and then we can just say, so we don't actually have to attach this variable in the inspector, and we just say hitbox um, dot take damage or attack, and then we can just pass in our data dot damage variable, and yeah, so that oh yep, so we did also miss a semicolon, so now when we go back into Unity, everything should work fine. The only thing that I think we need to do is actually no. Let's just run and we'll see if we get any errors. If we do, we'll fix them. So we're in the game and we attack it. It's not taking any damage. That's a problem. Oh, that's right, because we forgot to set the skeleton enemy tag to skeleton. So let's just create a new tag, call it skeleton, and we'll set our skeleton enemy as a skeleton, which it is. And now we can press play. Um, and if we do attack it, it should hopefully take damage, which it's not. So let's actually go back and check our script. So let's make isn't field public, and we can actually just click on the hitbox and we can check if it's actually being detected. If it's not, then that means we probably need to make the trigger bigger. So let's go up to the skeleton enemy, and you can see it's being triggered, which means that when we do attack, it should be taking damage, but it's not. Oh, that is right, because we forgot to actually make our damage bigger than 1. My mistake. Okay, now everything should work. Let's just go up here. We can go up to the skeleton enemy. It's still not working. You can see the hitbox is true. Oh no, we're attacking. It's just going the wrong way. Okay. Let's just okay, then that's an easy fix. We can just go to the canvas, give it a complete 180. And now yeah, it should work. So let's walk up to our enemy. Nope, it still does not work. Let's reverse this change, and then the simpler fix is just go to come here and change left to right to right to left. Um, Apply all the overrides, and yeah, everything here will work now, hopefully. So we are attacking it, it's taking damage, and we're killing it faster than it's killing us. So I do admit the combat is kind of interesting, but yeah, so far everything is going without problem. I'll touch on dying in the next episode, so we'll create like a death screen for both our enemy and our player, as well as starting our first quest in the game. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching. And in the next episode, we're just going to be touching on dying. Um, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.